Do your drawings ever seem like Frankenstein? A bit from here, a bit from there, a bit from this drawing, a bit from that drawing, all stitched together, hoping to create a new real drawing, yet somehow not being convincing, looking a bit like a try-hard attempt to get a drawing that at best looks a bit bitsy rather than something that looks as if it's the one drawing from the one person. If this is you, you might find this game-changing, or at least drawing-changing. When I start to learn to draw, it's easy to think that I don't really know anything and to be wanting to find out as quickly as possible how to do this skill that I'm wanting to develop, and to want to find out as quickly as possible how I can draw as well as I hope to be able to. But I've come to believe that in all likelihood, the best thing I can do is just to sit with my own, what I call, drawing starting point. And we sit with it by simply drawing, by doing as much drawing as we can to look at whatever subjects or imagine whatever subjects we're wanting to draw and to draw them as best we can and to see what happens, to see what marks appear on the paper, to see how they combine together, to see what is creating the effect that I'm after and what's not, and making changes at that point, to allow what's already in me be the driving force of my drawing at this point, rather than watching videos of other people's drawings and other people's drawing methods, which usually leads me to try and take things that I think work really well in their drawings and put them into my drawing, but often force them into my drawing, when I'd be better off just exploring and seeing what happens with what's already in me, as I said before, with my natural starting point. Now, I often talk about learning as a skill and the importance of thinking of learning to draw in that way. But as well as being a process that can be taught, it is just as much a creative process, because we are creating, we are bringing into reality something that doesn't exist already. We're not just learning a process, and while we can understand that creating in the end as a process, the process doesn't happen apart from the creating, the creativity. And it's in this creative process of our drawing that our individuality appears. The things that make my drawings look like my drawings come from this creative process. Because when we draw, we're creating a new reality. We're seeing some element of reality, whether it's in a photo, whether it's in our imagination, or whether it's in front of us in real life. And we're working out ways that we can represent that reality using marks of some sort with whatever material we're using on our surface material. And of course, we can do this in a fairly literally representational way, or in a semi-abstracted way, or in a totally abstracted way. How we're trying to capture the reality in our drawing is also a part of our individuality in what we're doing. All the time, this flows from the challenge of the process. How will I create this? How will I create the leaves on the tree that I see in front of me on my paper? What marks will I use? How can I capture the light effects using my pen? Ironically, how can I capture white light using black ink? How can I interpret or represent the thatched roof of this cottage? How can I draw the hair on this figure? Or how can I capture the feeling of tension in the twisted pose of a different figure? And of course, there is no way. There are as many ways to do these things as there are people holding the pen or the brush. Because our creativity comes from how we think first, above all else. It flows from our thought processes. Firstly, our thinking that leads us to want to try and do it, and then the challenge of how we're going to do it. And of course, my thinking comes from two main areas. It comes from the physicality of my brain, but then it also comes from the totality of my life experiences, of all the things I've done and seen and heard, been exposed to, and probably most importantly, all the thoughts I've already had in my life up to this point. So obviously, we all have different starting points when we start to draw. We all have different expressions of creativity already happening in our life, in our thinking, that now we're going to discover in our drawing. Now, frustratingly for some of us, some starting points may look as if they're head starts. Some people's life experiences up to the point where they start to draw, including any drawing they might have done as a child, has simply equipped their way of thinking and their way of observing in a way that's advantageous for how they want to draw compared to someone else who's simply lived a different life up till that point. And one of the things we can't avoid having is a preconceived idea of what a good drawing looks like and what a proper drawing process is, what we're trying to do. So we often start with the mistaken idea that a good drawing is being able to copy our reference as closely as possible, that the more my drawing looks like the photo, the better drawing it is. And yet, well, in my thinking, we already have the photo. I'm not going to draw a better photo than the photo. If I'm going to draw, it's because I'm trying to capture something that in some way is in the photo, but I'm going to infuse my personality, my thinking, my life experiences, and also particularly the things that delight me to see into my drawing. I'm going to use my reference as a starting point, as a springboard for something that in a sense creatively I see in my reference that I'm going to value add into my drawing, into what I create. Can I say, while I have often said learning to draw is a skill, and I truly believe it is, a lot of the skill is in the learning part of the learning to draw. It's the learning to learn, because learning is a skill too. Coming to understand the process of how I learn, the sorts of things that will benefit my learning experience in whatever context I'm applying it to, in this case, drawing. It's not that there's a right way to learn. Learning the skill of drawing isn't hitting on the right method of learning to draw, the right process, the right steps to take, as if there were one and we have to discover what that one best method that everybody else who does better drawings than I am is using, but rather that learning to draw is learning the way to develop the possibilities of drawing that I have within me. It will still take hard work and determination and practice, but I'm not trying to grab something that's outside of me and hold on to it. I am trying to develop something which is already in some measure within me. The best way to get somewhere is to know where I'm going, and then I can choose the best way to get there. I can jump on a plane and fly from New York to London. I can get there very quickly and in comfort. But if what I really wanted to do was to cruise the Pacific Islands, then it hasn't got me to where I've really wanted to go, to where what was in me was wanting to experience. And when I rush to watch drawing videos, when I haven't done much drawing myself, or perhaps even any, perhaps I want to find out the right way to do it before I even start to draw, so I don't develop bad habits, then I can be suddenly walking alongside someone else on their creative journey, and it may be comfortable, it may be interesting, it may be like a first-class flight from New York to London, but if their drawing journey is taking them to a different place to where I want to be going on mine, in the end, it's a detour that's not helping me get to where I want to go. In fact, it may distract me or make it harder to get to where I want to go. I may have spent all my money on this flight and now I can't afford my cruise. I think in this instant day and age, we so often focus on results and not on process or journey. But it's in process and journey that understanding develops. that a consistent way of thought, of thinking about what we're doing starts to come together and give us directions. If you like, it's where we make our plans for our drawing journey, where we, well, draw. But as we draw, we think about what we're doing. We think about what we're wanting to do. We're thinking about the results we're wanting to get. And then we dig into ourselves and try and find ways that we can do that we can express what's within us. Part of this is I critique my work. I look at it and I think, is this where I'm wanting to go? Or have I gone off in a different direction? And really, I think I'm better off coming back and moving on in where I was going. Or perhaps this really is a better direction. I didn't know enough to know that this would be a better direction than the one I was in before. But now that I've explored this and I'm thinking of this, I see that this actually is the start of where I'm really wanting to go. It's spending time thinking about process as we draw. What happens otherwise, in the haste to become good at drawing, to produce good drawings, I'm wanting to grab, to appropriate other people's drawing journeys or parts of their drawing journeys, parts of how they draw, and without any understanding of where they've come to get to that point, of the understanding that led them to use those marks in that way, I try and somehow force it into my drawing. So I've got a head from this person's drawing style, and I've got an arm from this person's drawing style. I've got the hands from another person's drawing style. I've got the feet from that new person's drawing style I've just discovered that really excites me. And I've got the chest from this, and so forth and so forth. And before I know it, I have a Frankenstein drawing. All these different parts from other people's understanding and journeys, roughly jammed together and stitched together to produce my very own drawing Frankenstein. And sometimes the result can be a bit scary. Now, there is of course still a learning process, and there is tremendous, if not essential, input that we get from others as part of our learning to draw process. Part of the way my life experience equips me to develop my own creative way of expressing on paper what's in my mind or what's in front of me and onto the paper. Exposure to the way other people are doing this already is part of how I prime the pump. It's part of how I get a range of options, of understandings, of ways that our creative processes can engage with the reality we're wanting to represent on the paper. And it's not that I grab one and force it onto the paper as is. I think about it. I reflect on the effect of that versus the effect of my current thinking on what I do. And if I don't know my current thinking, I try and work it out. Why am I drawing this way? What's happening here? Is this the best option? Is it giving me the results I want? Is there a better way of thinking that I can use? And seeing what other artists are drawing is a way of doing that, a really important way. But it's too easy in this day and age to just want to steal, in effect, what we're seeing others doing and drop it into our own drawing, rather than seeing it, but letting it inspire me, encourage me, enthuse me, delight me, inform me in my own understanding of the drawing process, to develop me, to lead me on, and therefore to become part of my natural creative process, my own individual way of thinking, of understanding, and of expressing on paper. And it's always easier to develop this, I believe, if I have a good starting point of where I am myself. If I start by trying to grab a bit here and here and here and here from everywhere, then I'm not going to know where I am myself. I'm going to have all these fragments of others in front of me in my drawing, with every chance that they're quite incompatible in some ways, instead of having discovered where I'm at without any more input right at this point, and now I have somewhere to build this input into. I have a process started that can be refined, and it may be that in 3 years' time, my process is totally different. I certainly understand drawing differently to even 3 years ago. I understand the drawing process very differently, and that allows me to create very different drawings to the ones I did, say, 3 or 4 years ago. But where I'm at now is just as much my individual expression of my own creativity as how it was then, even though it's been informed, it's been influenced, it's been educated by many other artists and their processes and their mark making. But it's happened in a natural way. I've absorbed things in their process and their drawing that has resonated within me, and I've combined it, it's blended, it's mixed through thoroughly into my own thinking, understanding, and mark making. I think so often when people begin to draw, in the rush to find the best method, the best course, the best videos, the best teacher, they've failed to let themselves discover where they're at, where their starting point is, and then they forever feel lost because there is no anchor point, there is no reference point to handle all the input that now swirls around them, often contradictory. Of course, I'm not saying there's no value in watching how to draw videos. I hope there's some value. I've made so many of them. But if you're just starting to draw, don't rush to watch video after video if this watching comes at the expense of having time and energy to work on creating your own drawings, to start to understand how you see the drawing process as being at this point, and without having a chance to work out, what am I trying to do when I draw? What sort of pictures, what sort of drawings am I wanting to appear on my paper through my marks at the end? How do I want my drawings to look? Because it's these thoughts, these understanding of our process, even if it's very simplified, and even if in the end they're all going to be changed as I learn more and understand more and perhaps gain confidence and experience, but they're still my starting point now. And this foundation, this starting point, will be the place where I can start to plug in all the information I receive when I do start watching videos in a more serious way. But now I've got a filter to work out what from this video is helpful for me and what parts can I perhaps enjoy but not actually pick up and use myself because they're not compatible with what I'm trying to do now. Or perhaps they'll be so compelling, they'll lead me to start to change what I'm trying to do. But I've now taken it on board as part of my journey, my thinking, my drawing style. G'day, I'm Stephen Travers. Particularly if you're just starting to draw, I hope this has been helpful. Don't rush to watch videos before you give yourself a chance to find out what your natural starting point is, both in terms of how you think and understand the drawing process, and also in the sorts of marks you put on the paper, how they come together, and what you get at the end. Stay in that place for a while and trust that you've already got something to bring to that process. So give it a chance just to flourish and develop on its own. Then, when you watch other videos, when you in effect get the opinions and the examples of others, you have a basis to work out what you will allow in to your thinking and your drawing process to influence the way your drawings look. It won't be confusing, it won't feel out of control because you'll be making all the choices and you'll have an understanding on which to do it, which is where you've started from and where you're hoping to end up. But in the end, whatever you do, however you do it, whether you watch any videos or none at all, although if you're watching this, I guess you're watching some, make sure you have fun. I'll see you next time. Bye.